And we are live. Welcome to Fun Speculation Podcast, everybody. This is episode 136 of FSP. Today is March the 24th. Start of a new week here, and that means more rumors, more speculation, more things keep happening. Even those things we've been discussing for a while, it seems like some others out there are catching on and actually are starting to have some of the same conversations finally that we've been having for a little while. That's the good thing about speculation. Sometimes we like to look into the future, and then it's always surprising when everybody was kind of ignoring some of that. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh wow, this is interesting. I wonder how this is all going to be possible. I wonder how this is going to work if this all happens because of rumors that are starting to happen currently." And
Mhm.
which is interesting to see those conversations starting to be had from many people in the gaming community, and specifically actually with exclusivity regarding PlayStation, and the possibility of PlayStation games being on Xbox in the future because of Steam being on Xbox, and that would be something that would be pretty interesting to see how the effects work out across the industry, and be a disruptor for sure. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that and some of the games obviously launching this week and more. So thank you all for being here. I see some awesome names in the chat already. Shout out to E Ranks, RSJ Fan, Prey Grasso, Isaac Hayes, 85, Game Shark, Ron Slusher, Lydian Master. Hope y'all are all doing fantastic. Audio listeners, hey, shout out to all of you as well. If you like the content, hey, leave a review and let us know what you think. And if you do, might help people find us, which is always a great thing. And if you're here live watching on YouTube, hey, remember hit that like button, share it out, notification bell, all that stuff's completely free. We don't ever expect anything, but appreciate any and all support, and that includes just the like button here on the channel. So shout out to you guys, and hope you enjoy the show today. And we are currently just joined by Fuzzy Belvedere, but that's cool because Fuzzy and I can hold our own. We'll see if anybody else ends up popping in during the show. Shout out to 3-Bit. I don't know where he's at. He's probably eating some broccoli and margaritas and stuff like that right now. This is one of his favorite hobbies. But shout out to him. Or he's ruining the gaming industry. That's something else that he likes to do. What's up, Fuzz? How are you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here with you, Mav. Yeah, it's always great when the speculation becomes a reality
Yeah.
kind of thing. But yeah, there's some good stuff coming our way as far as not just games, down the roadmap, but just the way or where you can play them. Like I think that's probably the biggest thing that people are, I guess, starting to realize. Like,
Yeah.
hey, I can take my games on the go and have my PC games and my console games possibly on the same device. And yeah, it's becoming a better gaming environment. Play where you want, how you want, kind of thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
we got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
man.
interesting.
It's like that, like we were talking about a little bit. It's remember we always used to wonder what would happen if in the future there was like a one console future. We always people always thought that like things were going to be potentially heading that way as things became more digital, and these companies, it just became more about the gaming. Gaming is more accessible and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, what does that mean? How does it work? And all that other kind of stuff. Well, in the future, it turns out you might only need an Xbox if we still call it
Yeah.
that. I mean, I'm sure we will, but will it be won't be an Xbox as we think of it today, but an Xbox with more options, and that's kind of where it seems like things could be headed. And it's gonna have if this reality happens, then we'll end up having some ramifications throughout the industry and all of that kind of stuff. Man, it's gonna be interesting to keep an eye on. The latest rumors, obviously, were from the leak from Xbox themselves when they accidentally posted a highly confidential image to their own blog and then quickly removed it, that showed a new interface across multiple devices, kind of coinciding with some behind the scenes news that they were going to be updating the Xbox app with access to other storefronts on the PC. But this image they had that we talked about last week had, and also yesterday on Pixelated Echoes, which I hung out with you guys, was a fun show. Uh, d- Showed this ecosystem, this storefront, this thing running on multiple devices, including console, a handheld, Asus device, laptop,
Mhm.
mobile device, all of the
Yeah.
above, right? And that kind of is leading me to think, a lot of this news that we're getting about some of the updates that we have coming up for the PC is kind of just again start of getting things ready to be able to have this truly Xbox everywhere experience. And more things today. Actually, Xtasis on Twitter, who's a known leaker now and has posted lots of content and stuff regarding rumors and speculation and leaks and stuff for a while now. Had made a post today with more evidence of Steam, as Steam friends are starting to show up and some people's friends list on the PC.
Mhm.
So as another interesting thing, if you have your account linked and stuff like that, Um, so yeah, we're kind of headed in towards this direction of a unified ecosystem, access to all your games, no matter where you are. And again, I've said numerous times, the key for many of us as console gamers is going to be making sure that our console library is safe and compatible with that future, because we all own mini games on the console. Game Pass has a lot of games that are only on console as well, and those kind of things.
Mhm.
So about getting all of that working, because the PC side is the easy aspect, right? But
Yeah.
the hurdles that they are facing, that they have to figure out, or maybe they already have, and they're just working on getting everything implemented, would be that console library. So that's going to be interesting to see. But a lot of the conversation fuzz has been regarding PlayStation today, as the same day where we finally got the release date for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle going to PlayStation, which, newsflash, everybody, we all knew it was going there. We all knew this was happening. We all
Yeah.
some people don't like how they announced it. Apparently, like, oh, they're gonna make a big deal about telling us there's news coming, and then it's just this going to PlayStation. Well, it was pretty obvious that this was probably, for the most part, what an announcement was going to be, because it's time. They said it was coming in spring, and
Mhm.
Troy Baker sitting on a couch. They probably had to do with Indiana Jones, especially with the surroundings of everything. So they
Mhm.
announced the release date for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle going to PlayStation today. And a lot of people are still upset. Oh, exclusivity on Xbox is dead. Well, I think also at the same time, people starting to realize the future. Now, I'm not talking about today, which
Yeah.
some people get confused, right? The future, PlayStation might have exclusivity die as well without them being able to do a damn thing about it. And that's what a lot of people are starting to realize now, as PlayStation has put their games more so on PC, and on Windows. They have games in the Steam store. Even a Sony game coming out this year that's published by Sony is releasing day and date on PC, and it's a single player game. So
Mhm.
that is a thing that is happening. And if that continues to happen, which there's no reason why it wouldn't, because they already have said numerous times they need to be putting their games in more places. They're more multi-platform. The other market that they see the most potential in is the PC market. Once our Xboxes are PCs and not what we think of as consoles, it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think there's a damn thing they can do about it here. So we're going to see a future, I think, Fuzz, and if this all pans out like Xbox is working towards and what their
Mhm.
goals are, to where we are going to be in that place where we can literally buy one device to plug into our TV and have access to our entire console library, plus also Steam games, PlayStation games. You got a Ubisoft Connect on there. You have an EA
Mhm.
launcher, good old games, Epic
Yeah.
Game Store, and yeah, it'll be an interesting world to live in, but that's where we're headed possibly. So now a lot of people are saying there's no way Sony will allow this. They will find a way to block it. Now, do you think that's something that could happen?
The only way I can think of it happening would be a similar fashion to GeForce Now, and I think there's more leeway when there comes to things that are streaming. There's there aren't really written rules. You'd have to almost make a new contract because a lot of these digital apps or games themselves are based on it being like installed or native to the device, except for when it's on, let's say that publisher might also do hardware. When it's on their hardware, then it might be a different story. So if this Steam integration was only streaming, almost
Mhm.
like the Steam Link where you can stream games from your Steam library to other devices, if it was just that, I think maybe PlayStation could have a case, but I don't think that that would be the winning move for them, if even if it was. But given that this handheld that they're working on is more of a PC handheld, and that's going to be kind of like the target device. That's going to be like
Yeah.
the product that kind of brings everything together. I think with that being more PC like, it's going to be awfully hard for them to differentiate that Windows device from other Windows devices that Steam, sold games to. So it's not like Sony can go back and say, "Hey, well, we want you to check to see if it has that Xbox, operating system layer." Now, first, Gabe would be like, "Go f yourself." I'm not doing that, because, and the reason why he wouldn't do that is it's not up to them based on the distribution from the store. Once the customer buys it, that's like an end of transaction, and that's why there was such a big to do where Steam pulled, Helldivers 2 from their store based on Sony kind of changing the terms of what that game was about. Now, sure, you were supposed to be able to link your PSN at the beginning. The developer themselves pulled that because it was creating problems like on launch day. I think you, as well as a few others, were
Yeah.
trying to link your PlayStation account, and that worked, but then the game wouldn't work. So it was like they had to hurry up and fix it so people didn't refund the game without even playing it, kind of thing. So the developer took it upon themselves to do that. And then Sony went back and was like, oh, no, it's mandatory. But then a lot of people in regions where that would be mandatory then couldn't play the game because they already bought it and they're in a non PSN location.
Right.
Well, Gabe was like, well, that's on you guys. We'll just, if you want to block those areas, fine, we'll pull it from the store. So easy peasy. You guys refund us when we refund them. And Sony's not going to say we're not going to refund you. Unlike when a customer asks for a refund and they give them a hard time, or if you do a chargeback, they close your account, kind of thing. Sony's at their beckoning call more so than Steam being at theirs. I mean, Steam sells 18,000 new games every year. Like,
Yeah.
they don't really need PlayStations 2 or 3 that they will put in the store to make ends meet. They have quite a full catalog of stuff to offer. So Sony's more at their beckoning call, and that's something that I don't think Gabe is going to be all too keen on doing, just for the fact that if this Xbox new OS is basically Windows and make it more console centric or console like, so handheld devices work more seamlessly. And yeah, that's competition for Steam, but in his grand scheme of things, like the whole reason why he made that Steam Deck was to kind of move into this market where he saw what Nintendo was doing, and there really isn't like a low end or entry point for that type of gaming at the time, because all the other PC handhelds that had been in existence for quite a while, like IO Neo, I think is one of those companies, they were like $900 to $1,900 handheld devices, like a laptop, which Sony's not going to be able to say, hey, ban these Windows devices that have an Xbox logo on it. And it's just something that would be counterproductive in making money. They would probably spend more time in legal fees than the money that they would actually earn from what is sold through Steam. It would basically set themselves backwards. I mean, unless they have their PC launcher ready to go, but Steam rules the
Yeah.
PC
Well,
landscape.
even
Like,
then, though, right? Like, okay, let's say, because we've talked about this, like we know that Sony had been working on a PC store, but we don't know if it's ever going to happen or not. But let's say it finally does, which I think it will, because they're
Yeah.
just passing up on business by not having that, because they can offer their subscription service through that as well, and then try and
Mhm.
grow that through the PC market. Add some kind of different levels to it and all these other kind of things. It just makes sense for them to have that implementation there, right? Eventually.
Mhm.
Now they haven't had the infrastructure that Microsoft has to make that ha- easy for them, so they have to get partners and all that other kind of stuff to make this kind of stuff work. And we'll see when it eventually launches, right? And I don't think they expect to take over the PC market. Like, Steam is going to still be there, but any sale they get on a PlayStation store for them is better than a sale they get on a Steam store, right? So they want to have that there, sell more subscriptions, but maybe have like a streaming option on PC as well through that, and all these other kind of things that they could do using their own PlayStation storefront. I think eventually will happen. But even if they put a PlayStation storefront on Windows,
Mhm.
they
Still
won't be able
Windows.
to block it. It's still Windows. So if PlayStation puts a PlayStation storefront on Windows, literally, if this next gen Xbox device comes out, it's Windows based and it's that hybrid that we're all talking about, right? You could literally have the main thing, the main dashboard, where the launcher, where you see Xbox and whatever, whoever's cooler with their partnership, being like Steam or something like that, all right there. But oh, just go into Windows mode. Oh, okay, you got Epic Store, PlayStation Store,
Mhm.
GOG, or whatever. Okay. Oh,
Mhm.
well, I can access my games that way. You can do a lot of this stuff now on an Xbox through the browser.
Right.
By streaming games and all that other kind of stuff through different partners and shit, right? So in this future, is something that we talked about for a while. Like, there's really not a damn thing they could do about it. And people are saying, well, they'll just remove their games from PC. No, no, they won't, because then they're what are they going to do, right? What are they going to do? They are capped at the console sales, really. I mean, they're doing well with console
Mhm.
sales, but there's no growth really in that market, and these companies need to grow. So it's interesting concept, right? Like, Nintendo's a different animal. Nintendo's going to do their thing, but PlayStation's going to continue to try and find more places to sell their games, and I think it's a perfect situation for them, because one of the only reasons they wouldn't have done it on Xbox before is because Xbox was more of a direct competitor, console to console wise, all these other kind of things, right? And if they see the backlash Xbox got now putting games on the PlayStation, and everybody's like, I hate Xbox games going to PlayStation because PlayStation doesn't give Xbox anything. Well, Xbox is taking that shit. They can't do anything about it, right?
Mhm.
But for Sony, I look at it like this, like, it's a perfect situation for them because they can save face.
Mhm.
Like, this was out of
And
our
really quick,
control. We
okay,
didn't know. This is not even an Xbox anymore. It's a PC. They may like trying to fake fight it or whatever. Oh, we don't like this. We hate this and whatever. But meanwhile, they're selling the games, and like racking up the money. And then eventually, okay, so let's say you have multiple storefronts available on console, right? And you have the different storefronts actually being competitive with between themselves, more so for the uh revenue that the actual games make for the publishers that put their games in their storefronts. So, like, default
Mhm.
right now is like 30%. There was talks before that Xbox was going to try and be more competitive at like 12% and all these things. Well, in a world where you already have access to all the games anyway, like we do on PC, besides the console games that are only console, on PC, you still have all these competitive storefronts, right? And
Mhm.
in this world, you might have, okay, well, Epic is paying for tons of free game offers through, so like all these different deals. You're having more competition. Maybe certain storefronts try and make deals with publishers to for like, okay, we're going to take less, right? In that world in the future, it's like, why not just put your games in all the storefronts, and or whoever's giving you the best deal as well. So, like, it's just opens up a whole can of possibilities, and it's going to be a very interesting thing to see. The PC side aspect is easy because we can say, oh, we could just create a PC now and just plug it into your TV, right? And it's just going to be okay. Getting the console games that we already own there is going to be the interesting thing to see how it's going to work. But 3-bit, hey, welcome
Hello.
aboard. What's up, dude? How you
What's
doing?
good, y'all? Doing good. I honestly just lost track of time. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, shoot. That was Ted. So here I am.
No excuse. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'm
Not
just
yet.
kidding.
No, it's good to be here. I was hearing some of you guys' conversations. I think with we were talking about this right after PXC. I was like, whoa, I have to think about the possibilities with this because this really does speed up the console race a little bit in certain aspects. Like if Xbox has PC games that could affect what Sony does in the future, even faster speed up their plans with them having day one PC um releases. It could speed up their store plans that maybe like right now they're maybe not as fast on in development on maybe that could speed up like oh shoot but it's honestly really cool. I think in a lot of ways that it could mesh together different communities. I know Phil always he always talked about before like trying to reach that what was it, like 5 billion whatever number he said gamers. I think the console market is stagnant in a lot of ways. Same people get the same amount of consoles each and every generation. It funnels a lot of money, but it's usually the same player base. Uh, when you get the PC player base and in on that I feel like that in itself, introduces a whole other market. Like they already are doing PC Game Pass and supporting some games on Steam and things like that. But what this does is just introduce that ecosystem that a lot of people are they're staying on. Like a lot of people are just staying on Steam that are PC gamers. They're not jumping around to any other ecosystems. They're comfortable in Steam, and it's one of the biggest out there right now. So the fact that they're even thinking about putting Steam within the Xbox platform, I'm interested in the implementation of that. Um, like how they are managing to do that. Like we talked about like native downloads, like how's that gonna work? Is it gonna just be through the cloud?
Well,
Um,
how does
it,
it work today
it,
on PC?
well, right now it's just through the PC game. I mean, there's two different apps, right?
Right.
Right.
So,
So it's the
but
PC Game Pass app.
if you want to, you can add Xbox games to your Steam library. There's workarounds for that, or you
Okay.
and vice versa. Now, what we've seen leaked from Xbox was the implementation to where I think they just kind of partner with Steam to sort that out and do it themselves. But in the world where it's just a PC, ultimately, or trimmed
Mhm.
down just PC, that's even though the consoles today are still the same, it's just even more pared down. But in that
Yep.
world, it's just like, well, it's just gonna load. There's no reason to think any of the games can't load natively. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like they're because that would require blocking of access. So even if you can't access it from directly the actual launcher itself,
Mhm.
all you gotta have to do is go out and to like Windows mode and then load it from there. The same that you can do today on any of these Windows based handhelds.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it on the console
Right.
front of like
Well,
what's gonna happen
that's what
there.
it's gonna be.
And
Like think of
mm,
okay, so think of this like I'm trying because your mind was blown yesterday. You said your mind was
yeah.
blown, right? And it was like,
Yeah.
funny to me
Yeah.
because we've had so many of these discussions, right? Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so do you know how like an Asus ROG Ally or MSI Claw or Lenovo Legion Go, all these like PC handhelds work today, right? It's like just it's Windows, and you can open Xbox on it, you can open Steam on it, you can open whatever, right? And
Mhm.
now think of a Steam Deck, right? Now, when you open a Steam Deck, it automatically launches into the Steam OS, right? But it's Linux based. So if you want Windows on there, you have to install Windows, which you can, right? But you can also put Game Pass on there. You can do all these other things. It just requires finesse for somebody. You have to know what you're doing or follow instructions to do all that, right? So with it being Windows based on the Ace, like the Asus ROG Ally and those things, you don't have to do any of that stuff because you still can just do Steam. You can just load into Steam. It just won't default launch into it, right? You can load into, Epic Game Store. You can go to UB. You can go to EA. You can go to Xbox. You can just do whatever. But the catch is those devices are not, because it's just Windows. Windows right now isn't very user friendly on like a handheld gaming device, right? So you're trying to operate what we see in front of our eyes today on a desktop, right, through a little handheld that doesn't have a mouse and keyboard on it and all that kind of shit, right? So what Xbox is doing is they're making something in the vein of like the Steam launcher, right? To where when you boot up, it's automatically going to boot it to an Xbox, right? But the main difference is it's still Windows. You don't have to go do all that other bullshit to load Windows in and all these other kind of things to make all these other things work. So the fact that this is going to be Windows based means all that stuff is already accessible and already there, right? The key is just going to be user interface and how simple it's going to be and how you get out of that launcher into Windows mode, right?
Right.
And that is what the consoles will be. It'll be a plug into your TV version of the hybrid devices that we're already getting today that are going to be updated, right? So that's the thing, is like everything's already native because it's just Windows.
Yeah. And I
You
guess
know what I mean?
I
It's
mean
like,
they really have the Steam console, which has UI and things like that, which I guess they could just make an app on
that's what
the
that
console if they wanted to. And
well, that's what they're
yeah.
doing. That they're going to have one launcher that is the same on those handheld devices, on the console, and you're going to be able to supposedly do it on your PC too, right? Just go
Yeah,
into
I
this
guess
like
I just was
Xbox
like
mode.
wondering how much cross integration there would be, like if there was achievements on Xbox via, or is it just like you are now on Steam technically, but you're just playing it through the Xbox?
So
Does that make sense?
let me give you an example on this. Okay, so Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? It has I'm playing it on Xbox, I'm playing it on PC, and I'm playing it in the cloud,
Mm.
right? So the
Yep.
Xbox version is the console version that I bought that has stream your own game through the cloud and on the console. But when I'm
Mhm.
playing on PC, I'm playing it through Ubisoft Connect because I have to launch it from there, right?
Mm. Mhm.
Because I got Ubisoft Plus just so I could play the PC version as well. Okay.
Right.
But the save works across all three seamlessly.
Oh,
Now,
that's
if
dope.
I play on PC and I'm playing for like 3 or 4 hours, I may have done a bunch of stuff. Okay. I'm playing the Ubisoft Connect store version of that game. I'm not playing the Xbox version. I'm playing the Ubisoft Connect version at that
The
point.
saves connect, but
The
like
saves connect, all that stuff. But
different. Yeah.
and I get my Ubisoft like little things that pop up for that. But when I go and I switch back to console later, I pick up right where I left off, and all of a sudden I hear pop, 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 achievements start going off. Because all the achievements I got while I was playing on PC for my progress ended up transferring over to Xbox. So I thought that was pretty cool. So if they
Yeah.
can do it with Ubisoft and they can make that seamless and work that way,
Yep.
then they can make Steam achievements work with Xbox achievements the same way too. And they
Yeah,
could
sure.
also make cross progression work as well. In fact, they already have with some games. Some games already have cross progression between Steam and Xbox because you have to, when you have a Steam game, even if you launch it, you still have to have a Microsoft account, and that's what unifies everything. And the reason it works with Ubisoft Connect is because my Xbox account is linked to Ubisoft Connect.
Yeah,
So it's all about account linking and all that kind of stuff is the trick.
but
That was like,
have
it's crazy, right? But it works.
have we have you guys talked about, because there's PlayStation games on Steam?
Yeah. So you
At,
would get
like,
Steam achievements on those because those you won't have an Xbox account or
but
anything for,
then
right?
you'll be able to play like Spider-Man on Xbox. I'm
Exactly.
sure Sony's gonna be pissed or do something
No,
about.
they'll pretend to cry, but they'll be happy about the sales.
Yeah,
Because
I guess
the only
so.
reason they don't do it today is to save face, to act like their makes their PlayStation 5 more valuable to buy,
Right, right.
right?
Hmm.
But in the future where this is a thing, there's not like necessarily like a console competition.
It's just a funny workaround because Xbox has been trying to get, Game Pass on PlayStation for a while, and then Sony's like, no, and then they're like, okay, get Steam, and we get the games anyways. To me, that's just really funny. Like, if that just ends up being the case, like,
It's
it's basically a workaround. Like, we would
you
have.
can do it on a ROG Ally today.
Yep.
Yeah, true. Dang. This is why it's blowing my mind. Like, there's
Like
so many different branches.
this is the thing. This is like the thing is like we live in this world already on PC,
Right.
right? And but what it is they're taking the console and just making them more PC like, right?
Yeah.
And but in order to do that, the trick is to make it more user friendly because console gamers don't want to usually deal with all the PC shit. So they got to
Yeah.
streamline it and interface it right to give us the Xbox experience across all the devices that are more for just gamers, you know,
Yeah.
and that they'll implement that. I think it'll be clunky at first, honestly. I don't think it'll be super smooth, but that's what they got to
Yeah.
do.
I think people were kind of complaining about the Steam box interface and things like that, but I think it's gotten better over time. I don't know. I haven't really been following like the Steam console version because it kind of, not a lot of people maybe got it. I don't know.
The Steam Deck or the
Yeah, no,
Steam
not the Steam
boxes.
Deck, the Steam box where it had like, it was
Oh,
basically like their console, right?
Oh yeah, that was years
yeah,
ago.
years ago.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
controller was
that
funky as
basically,
hell, and like they,
yeah,
if they have a new device that just plugs into a TV, which I think they will for Steam as well, then
It's
like
coming.
it's yeah, it'll come for sure, right? It'll have like it'll be based on what the Steam Deck is based on, kind of,
right.
and it's fine. It works great.
Because they're supporting Steam Deck more than that Steam box, right?
Well, the Steam box
As
They
is
far as
that
I
stopped
know,
Steam
or
box is
they
supporting the Steam
gone.
box.
Yeah,
that's dead, right?
that
Okay,
was dead
okay,
in the water like within a year after it launched. It just
okay,
was an
okay.
epic
I was
failure.
figuring.
Yeah, that was years
Yeah,
ago. That was Steam had this idea and saw the future way before anybody else, and they just jumped the gun on it, right? But essentially, that's what we are going to be seeing with
mhm,
Xbox in the future. Is
yeah,
that kind of mentality, and Steam is already doing that with Steam Deck, and they will have. And the thing is, too, is like Steam doesn't even have to make their own
yeah,
because you could have Asus or Lenovo or MSI or whoever say like, okay, we want to put your launcher and everything just on a device that we want to sell, and it'll just work, right? And that's what Xbox is going to be doing for the first time with Asus as well, because right now they're already doing that with the Windows versions of those handhelds, but they're finally doing this what Steam is doing with Steam Deck, where they have a better interface made for them, right?
right.
So, um, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Psycho is here, first time, long
What's
time. Who is this
I
guy?
know,
What's up, dude?
right? It's been a while. Sorry, guys. Work is just being getting that promotion. It's been killing me pretty much.
Right on,
I've
man.
been working a lot of hours, but yes, It's great to be here because I definitely wanted to jump in on this because I've been hearing a lot of stuff, especially with the Steam on Xbox. They're like, oh, they can just block the Xbox API um, and then this way no one can play PlayStation games. But it's like, well, that's not how it works, y'all. Like if because it's Steam that it's going to be running the game, not Xbox, and then definitely. The only way Sony can really block it if they block Windows API, and if they do that, well, you just
It's
fucked
no.
yourself on the PC market. And who who has Linux that's playing PlayStation games? So it's a smart move by Xbox. It's one of those they can fake cry and be like, oh no, but at the end of the day, the hardcore, like all of us, we're gonna take advantage of it. But the casuals, they're gonna stick with their, PS6 or PS5, whatever they decide to get, because
Yeah.
they don't care about a box that can play Steam if they're not playing on Steam, So it's anyone that has Steam that's playing on PC that were gamers on console. That's what this box is probably gonna attract, and especially if it's like Epic and GOG and all those window clients that you can use on an Xbox that's a hybrid console PC, it's a win-win for everybody,
Yeah. I
And
think
Xbox and
yeah, go ahead, Psycho. Sorry.
no, I was going to just say it's just smart for Xbox because they actually could have a hardware that might sell very well because it's something that people could use.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting too because I think like this whole notion of like brand loyalty, console like warrior mentality, and like the tribalism of gaming, and all this stuff that like really worked well for the industry for so long, to for these companies to compete, was based on they needed to sell the boxes, right, in order to attract
Yeah,
customers, right? And
correct.
we're getting past the point of that because access is growing way beyond have the necessity of having to have one specific box. So, they're growing out so much, and like I think that whole mentality also is like an older person's thing because we all grew up with it. We all grew up with Nintendo, Sega, like we saw the death of Sega consoles happen at the hands of PlayStation. We saw the birth of Xbox, and we saw the battles there, the 360 versus the PS3, and then the tides turning again and the following generation, and then leading into this now. And now it's like things are changing, and but also the younger crowds and stuff, those are a lot of the gamers that are using Steam, and
Yeah,
that are using all these different libraries and stuff, and they don't really necessarily like care or have allegiance to like console brand, like we did. They just may buy one that's more accessible, easy to plug into the TV, and the de facto one is PlayStation because it's the biggest name in console gaming, and I think it will continue to do so. I think PlayStation will still continue to sell consoles and all that kind of stuff, but over time, I think that will continue to melt away as there's more competition within the storefronts and the access continues to grow. And
yeah,
exclusivity will also kind of melt away within that as far as what we think of today as exclusivity. I think in the future, it's going to be more so about deals. It's going to be more about services. It's going to be some games show up in different things because the storefronts are competing with each other, less so the devices, right? So
yeah,
you're going to have interesting things like that going on all the time, but that's good for us as consumers. So this is something like I hope happens because I don't want to have to buy a PlayStation anymore for like one game a year. Like
I know.
to wait on the one game I want to play. Like I hate doing that shit. And in this future, right? I won't have to do that. Especially as PlayStation gets closer to day and date on PC, which I think is inevitable and is going to happen. I think that'll end up happening if they do have the PC storefront of their own as well. But yeah, man, you could be playing now. It won't necessarily be what we think of today as an Xbox, but next generation, it could be 3 or 4 years from now. You could literally be buying something called an Xbox at the store that it looks like an Xbox, got the Xbox controller, and it's next gen and marketed like a console, but they may be careful on the phrasing due to licensing issues. I don't know how they're going to handle that, but we'll see. Whatever it's called, and then we'll buy it and load it up. We have our Xbox, all of our Xbox games we ever bought. We have all the Xbox Game Pass games in there, and then we have all the Steam games that accessible to buy and look at, and then we have the ability to go to whatever other storefront we want to.
They could call it the Xbox PC, and it's for the console version. It'd be personal console. But if they just call it PC, it throws them off because it's all in like, just like it's not
Yeah.
a console. It's a PC.
Well, that's the trickiest thing about and we already live in the world today on PC where this is a thing, right?
Mhm.
But we don't live in that world on console, right? So the merging that they talked about, and like all the leaks about merging that together, requires the console library being playable on PCs. And that's supposedly, as numerous people in the industry have talked about, that's what Sarah Bond and them are working on figuring out, right? What is that?
Yeah.
That's the solution. That's the most interesting, and that's the part 3 bit that I don't have an answer for, right? And you were talking about integration, how things are going to work. The Steam stuff, all that stuff. That's the easy part for me. For me, it's like, how do we get around the licensing console games to be playable on PC, because this future device, in order for it to be accessing all of those things, won't really be
Right.
a console, it'll be a PC. So it'll have to be open, but which means that it won't be exactly the same as it is today. So it's about, how does Xbox get around all the licensing issues, all the things about with all the publishers that they've sold games to, that
Yeah.
they like want to double dip and all these other kind of things about hey, every game that people ever bought on our storefront. And we just think about the sell to
I
a publisher. Every game that people have bought on our console storefront that they own will now be available on PCs for them to access, meaning those
Yeah.
same users would have less desire to need to buy copies of those games on PC in the future. So that's the selling.
and
Like, how
I
do you get over
mean,
that?
I guess if over time, and I bet you both Xbox and Steam, I bet you just in their terms of service, maybe like 5, 6 years ago, they just probably started sneaking stuff in there. Like if we have a different Xbox, we can start to license your game out as if it's on our storefront, to starting to put some language in there, because when you start making a new Xbox version, or in Steam's case, when they had the Steam box, I'm sure they didn't have to go to every single publisher and be like, hey, we're making a different console. Can we use your game? It's sort of like whoever starts submitting to Steam, you're like, you almost are agreeing to to make it so, like, if Steam makes another console in the future, if they want to, we don't have to really ask you. Like, as long as you are applying your game to Steam and you're submitting it through a Steam store, you're getting money, haha, cool, you're getting money. We can do what we want with your game, sort of situation. I feel like there's probably some clauses that these companies are starting to put in as Xbox and whatever starts to diversify. I don't have proof of that per se, but I just feel like it makes sense to start doing that as Xbox is starting to think about going to different platforms and stuff like that. Like PC, they're putting stuff on the Fire Stick and things like that. That's probably clauses they're starting to put. Like if you put your game on Xboxes going forward, you kind of agreeing that we can make
Yeah.
a mobile version of your game to
Well, and going forward, I'm
but
like less concerned about it too, because once it's just it's PC anyway, you're just buying the game and it's just gonna work, right? but
Yeah.
it's about
Yeah.
the 1,000 games that we may own now.
Yeah.
Like,
And
okay,
if
so
there was
I want to upgrade to a next gen console. Okay, like I go to the store. It's this new PC console Xbox hybrid
Right.
device. It's
Yeah, you're not
2027.
double buying a game. Like Sony wants you to believe, like, oh, when you buy a remake, remaster, whatever, buy another version of the game rather than most PC games where it's just an update.
Right.
Jesse P actually says like Steam publishing agreement already does grant Valve full rights to sell and distribute games published on Steam. Yeah, I was gonna Google it and I actually copied a lot of their terms of service because I logged on Steam today because I was actually curious, but I didn't get to like fully read through it. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me that these companies will start to do that as they are changing their plans. Like PlayStation is no longer just putting their games on the console. They're starting to diversify, put it on PC. Xbox wants to do multiple things with their console. So it just makes sense like going forward, like if they want people to be able to play your game on your console, your PC, your mobile device, on your Fire Stick, whatever, you got to start putting clauses in there where it's like, okay, you put your game on Xbox, we can make different versions of your game on different screens, and stuff like that. Now I'm sure there may be some things where they like have to talk with the publisher on like here's a checkbox, like can we talk about this, like but for the most part I feel like just going forward it's going to be more of a thing for Valve and Xbox, which makes it easier for both
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, I agree. Like going forward, I think it's just gonna work because you're just getting like a.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, you're gonna have all the tools that a PC does now. So like, that's like for me not even like the concern. It's just about like my games now,
Right.
my library. How does it work on a PC? And like, how does Sarah Bond fix that problem? Because that's what she's working on. Like, because the promise for Xbox, right, is forward compatibility, right?
Right.
And bringing our library and game preservation forward. But if they actually have a hybrid PC device, how do they make sure that that legal aspect and all the licensing for our existing games? Now, the Xbox ones are fine, but I'm talking about, okay, I just bought Monster Hunter Wilds on Xbox, right? Or I bought you bought let's say first Berserker Kazan comes out this week, right? Let's say you buy that. Okay. Well, Xbox makes this switch where the future hardware is PCs. I trade in my Series X, I get this new Xbox in 2027. How do I make sure this PC that looks like a console, but it's a PC that can access Steam, that can access all these other things, is going to play those games that I've bought and that I already all had, that we already all have? Because that's the hard part, right? That's the hard part, that we don't know the answer or how that's going to be. It's going to be how they're going to work
I
that
mean,
yet.
I kind of like agree with what Psycho was saying. Like, I I do wonder if the next console they're like, hey, just make it so a mouse is compatible, so you can argue if it ever goes to court. Um, that this is technically a PC. Consoles are technically PCs. They're just heavily modified PCs. So you could argue that if you want, but if you want to go the extra mile, where some lawyer is like, well, can you use a mouse or whatever? Just
I think
like
you can use a mouse and keyboard on Xbox now, right?
yeah, just make it more with more games, I guess. But I don't know.
But Steam's kind of already shown the workaround. Like, for all intents and purposes, aside from the dual boot setup, Steam Deck is a console.
Right.
I mean, sure, we refer to them as PC handhelds, but the essence of a console, as far as the integration, the UI, the simplistic approach to it, it is a console. So I think it just comes down to wording at that point. If Xbox starts wording their next device as a gaming device and just leave it at that, they don't call it a console, they don't call it a PC, they wind up unifying the store, and the way to get the publishers on board with all of this, even for their older titles, is, well, it's a unified store. We were taking a 30% cut all along. We'll dial it back to 25, or we'll dial it back. I mean, they don't have to go as low as the 12, like you were mentioning earlier, Mav, but there's some wiggle room for them to appease the third parties that would be the problem. Like, I think most third party realize if you bought a game in 2015 and there's a PC version of available back in 2015 to this day, and you haven't bought it, you're probably not going to ever buy it. So that double dip is like a lost cause for them. They're not going to convince you to double dip unless Xbox decides to put their evil hat on and, you know, kind of force everybody to do that. But I don't even foresee them wanting to do that. I think they want everybody to come to their store, have access to, you know, games in their store as well as other stores, because you'll wind up staying in that ecosystem for them and continuing to buy games. And the publishers will see that you'll continue buying games in that sense with that next, you know, gaming device, console, PC, or what, hybrid, whatever. I think that's where they can, you know, kind of make the third party see the light kind of deal. Take a smaller percentage, you know, give them an extra 5 back or something. That might be enough. Somebody like EA might want an extra 10 back. So, okay, we'll cut it to 20. But in the grand scheme of things, I think this device, even though, at least from the handheld standpoint, it's still a niche area, because all in all, as far as the ones they're counting between ROG, Legion, MSI, and Steam Deck, are only at the 8 or 9 million over the past year or two, which isn't bad considering it's not, you know, what do you call them? Switch numbers, but still good numbers all the same. I think Xbox getting into this area, and Steam still working on making their own console like device or Steam box that, you know, has the Steam Deck layering to it, but it's essentially a PC. They're going to just focus on having it where the games are spec to run at a certain frame rate and so forth, like they do for the Steam Deck or that Steam, you know, console box or whatever. Xbox will just call their next devices game devices and kind of do the same thing. But software wise, I think putting the console games on there is the easy part, or easier part of things. It's the licensing aspect where hopefully that's what considering how well Sarah Bond did with Game Pass and getting publishers on board with that, I trust that she can, you know, convince a lot of these third party publishers to do the same thing with this whole, you know, old console apps being playable on that new device without it, you know, being a big to do. But, you know, the only exceptions, like I said before, might be like your Take-Twos, just for the fact that they want you to double dip, like everybody's probably double dipped or triple dipped with Grand Theft Auto 5, but that's like an anomaly, that game itself. But overall, that double dipping stuff, like if it's been on PC for umpteen years and the person hasn't bought it, what making this new device isn't going to magically make them want to buy it either, especially if they already bought it and they can't carry it over. Like you're probably burning a bridge with that customer, because then any future titles that you come out with, they might not be as willing to buy because you pull this fast one, while, you know, on Xbox's side, all of their first party stuff and some of their partnered, you know, publishers that they're working with, all of those games work, but this game didn't work. Yeah, screw those guys. I'm not buying any more, you know, games from them, kind of thing. So we'll see. But I think I have confidence in what they're going to do. It's just that I think in the beginning with that handheld device, I think it'll be all Xbox first party. Some, if not a handful of, you know, third party partners that they have, maybe your Square Enix, maybe your Segas, maybe, you know, your Ubisofts, like some of the other guys. Probably by the time the next generation Xbox comes out in 2027, they'll probably see the light, especially if the other guys are eating better with, you know, taking a bigger chunk of profit sharing or storefront money, or, you know, some other, you know, deals, backdoor deals that, you know, Xbox makes with them, type of thing.
Yeah. Well, they definitely need to integrate Play Anywhere to more developers out there, because that feature is amazing. especially once we get this third, this handheld, to play anywhere. I mean, to take your game and play it on what pretty much whatever device Xbox is on is a no-brainer. Makes people buy your version of the product, and that makes developers be like, you know what, to not skip Xbox, because that means if it's play anywhere, that means people more likely will buy it on that. Because especially if they're on PC, they could be like, well, if I'm going to get this Xbox handheld, or if I'm going to get any type of handheld that has an Xbox interface, I will buy that version. And who knows, maybe that will help combat the people that skip Xbox for, whatever reason.
Yeah. Um, it's interesting. Like we see the hurdles, and like we talked about this for a while about it, like all hands on deck, kind of to make this all a reality. Approach that I think they have right now, and it's why maybe we haven't seen some of the other things that we've wanted to, because they are working so much on everything, Windows implementation, changing how everything works. Like, and pretty much it's like changing what Xbox is. Like as Satya Nadella said, change what it means to be an Xbox fan. Like they know some big changes are on the horizon, right? And like this involves access to other games, other storefronts, different kinds of devices, new devices running Xbox, and they really want everything out there that you might be accessible to play on to feel like it's an Xbox. They've said this numerous times. But they're also leading towards this future of like, hey, we're going to allow other stores on our devices because that's what we're promoting and fighting for as well. They want to have Xbox on mobile, like as far as full functionality and all that kind of stuff. So they're kind of changing how things are going in the console space. And this takes me back to like, the promises of the forward compatibility and stuff. And this is why I think they've had this in their plans all along, and they've been working on a solution for this. Like, I remember and I have this article from Jess Corden on Windows Central from April of last year. Xbox President Sarah Bond has set up a new team dedicated to game preservation and forward compatibility. Right? The backward compatibility program will continue to future Xbox hardware. And it says the Xbox Sarah Bond recently briefed her team on various topics. In the email, Sarah Bond reiterated Microsoft's plans to build new Xbox hardware focused on delivering the biggest technical leap ever. Sarah Bond also revealed has set up a dedicated team to future-proof. This is the key part where I keep talking about how this is going to be the most important aspect of this. To future-proof our digital Xbox game libraries across future hardware paradigms. So that's a very key aspect there, because they're talking about different kinds of hardware, right? Different across future hardware paradigms to further build on Xbox's strong history delivering backwards compatibility. Additionally, it was revealed that Xbox has become blah blah blah. He's talking about Diablo 4. Okay, so this is the biggest thing here, and because in order to making the switch to just say, hey, we have a Xboxes now, we're just gonna sell PCs that plug into a TV, right? That's the easiest thing to do. Like they could do that. That they already have handheld devices that are handheld PCs, all those other kind of things, and anybody could make a small. They pretty much sell them now today. Like there's different people that sell PCs that are more friendly just to easily hook into a TV because they're smaller, more known as entertainment PCs, right? But that's not really built for gaming, right? It's not really built and tailored to gamers with user interface and all that kind of stuff. So that's the hard part. But then the second hard part again is making it to where, well, on a PC today, I can't access my Xbox games unless I'm streaming them or unless they happen to be Xbox Anywhere, right? Or they're in the Xbox PC store. And most of the games that we own on console all of us here, like with our large libraries of games, aren't on PC, or on the Xbox PC store, right? Or they're not going to be Xbox anywhere. So this is where this team that she supposedly has been, I think, working on this since last April to make sure that this is going to work somehow. And that's what I'm curious about, how the integration is going to go. Because that's the one thing we haven't had an answer for, because that's the one thing we can't do today. So that's the most interesting thing. Like, imagine all of us here, everybody in the chat, if you got a PC, right? Imagine that, hey, tomorrow Xbox has an update and your PC has an update. And all of a sudden you have access to every fucking Xbox game you have in your library from your console. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, how many games do you own on Xbox 3-bit?
How many what?
How many games do you think you own on Xbox?
A
few hundred, probably.
Probably 300 plus.
Okay, 300 plus you have your Game Pass library. How many of those are dual entitlement between PC right now?
Not well, a decent amount, but not like
handful,
a lot. Yeah.
You know, 20, 30 maybe, something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Usually like the first party ones are.
The first party ones for sure. Yeah, those are.
Yeah.
And those are already in Game Pass anyway, which we all subscribe to. Right?
Yeah.
But with this update, if this happens, right? If they make this world a reality, imagine hitting a button or something, your PC in front of you transforms into Xbox launcher mode or whatever, and hey, you got your 300 games there for your library.
That'll be sick. That'll be absolutely sick.
So that's what they want for that's what they want for the console for the future.
Yeah.
It's just going to default launch into that mode, right?
That's where I'm like, it's like bridging the gap between people who are just on PC. I know some people just did some super chats. But it's like bridging the gaps of people who are on PC and just are chilling on Steam, and like their library is huge. I don't have a lot of games on Steam, but I have like, I don't know, like 5 or 6. not a lot. But on Xbox, I probably have like 300 plus games. And if all of a sudden that is available, for compatibility, like out of the big three, I've always said like something Xbox does really well is just compatibility in general.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the big three, they are pushing backwards compatibility for sure, but also forwards compatibility more than Nintendo and Sony combined. Like at least having that initiative, and that's like, say what you want about like, oh, they're going multi-plat, whatever. Like that is something that's pretty important to me because I have so many freaking games on Xbox. And I worry about where my library is going, and like how can I even have it play across multiple systems. Like let's say I don't want to play a Series X anymore. I want to play on a PC. That's freaking awesome if I can make that decision. Like I don't want to play on Series X anymore. I could just be like, well, it's on PC now. Maybe they have some cool thing there. So in my awesome hypothetical future, to have like everything Xbox where I could just play everything on Fire Stick if I wanted to, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And I know Bond is making it, trying to make that happen, make it so you could play games on mobile and all this different stuff. They have to fight some hurdles. Usually it's other companies like Google and Apple making it a little bit harder for that vision to come to fruition. But yeah, it's freaking cool though.
Yeah, it's better. It's the best thing for consumers for sure. It's what we should. Yeah. I mean, all want is to have some access to everything.
Again, that Uno reverse to play, which I didn't even think about to the earlier conversation, like the sort of Uno reverse where people complain, well, Xbox acquiring Activision, people complaining about them going multi-plat and still not having, Sony games sort of shunning away Xbox in a lot of ways, but Xbox offering games vice versa. This would be like the ultimate like Uno reverse for those people who really care. Um, where Xbox would have Sony games, but then Sony wouldn't have certain Xbox games. I don't know. It's still pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's what for the most part today, if you buy an Xbox, you can play every game that's on PlayStation except for the couple of exclusives that they have per year or whatever, right? So it depends on
Yep.
if it's worth it for you to own one. If you're an Xbox gamer, it's worth it for you to own a PlayStation if you have a game you're really looking forward to that's only there. If you're a PlayStation gamer and you're only playing on PlayStation, then it would be like, well, I really need something that's only over there that I really want to play to make it worthwhile to go over there. But I think a
Okay.
lot of gamers are sick of having to own multiple consoles and let one sit for most of the year and waiting for that one game that they're excited to play. And
Yep.
maybe selling the games are where these companies all make their money anyway. If the devices are out there where their storefront is just on them, then hey, they just actually have more places to sell their games, and they're
Yep.
not going to care as much anymore.
Yep.
Shout out to
Lucky's Rock is collecting dust.
yeah,
But yeah.
so did mine. RC Polygons hit us with a $10 super chat. Says, why should Xbox cater to the console people? They should focus on the younger generation who has 60 years of them. The console fans are like Boom, who is 55 and has only like 5 more years out of them. If I'm anything like Boom or Boom's anything like me, I think Boom will be playing till he's probably incapable.
So you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Your agent saying Boom's only going to be playing 5 more years. I'll tell Boom that you said that, man. Like, what is he? 5 years away from being blind or deaf and not being able to see or hear anything. If he loses his hands, I don't know what's gonna happen to Boom in 5 years, man. But I gotta tell him, the clock is ticking, bro. Yeah, and it's funny though that you say that too, because the older gamers are actually, a lot of us are the ones that spend the most on games. So,
yeah.
what was it, like a poll? Was a few years back. Was like the average age of gamers just kept going up and up and up. Right? It was like,
Mhm.
It was 45 plus or something. Where the
yes,
was the biggest group.
we are the as we get older, we are still the biggest players. Now, obviously, you have the mobile side, which is way younger, right? Except for all the
Yeah.
Candy Crushers out there. And you have all of that, right? But like those gamers are growing, and they don't spend as much money because they're not buying games as much as they're playing Fortnites and Roblox and stuff like that, and they're
They found
getting
their game and then
yeah
bam,
they're
there's
getting a
Free to
skin
play stuff
occasionally for Christmas. They're getting some V-Bucks for Christmas, stuff like that. Or
from grandma.
where we're like, oh, when's the next big game coming out? But then also at the same time, all the grumpy old people have started to try and like sabotage games too, which is pretty weird.
yeah, that too.
Jax82 with a $10 super chat. Appreciate you very much as well, sir. Says, the play anywhere for third party needs to be day one. There's a lot of games that don't have it and wonder if a lot of studios turned it down or not aware of it. Yeah, and I think as long as you leave it as like a choice of like, do you want to be Xbox Anywhere or not? Right? It's always going to be something that's like, a lot of publishers are still going to opt out because they want to have the chance to double dip, right? But if you, in this future we're talking about of like the Xbox and the PC, there's no necessity at that point for something called Xbox Anywhere on those devices, because that's
Yeah.
just buying the game today on PC. Like if I buy the game on PC today, I can play the game on my PC. I can play it on a ROG Ally. I can play it on a handheld and all that kind of stuff, right? But it's the console to PC integration. Now, when the consoles are just PCs, also that just becomes part of that ecosystem, the PC ecosystem. So they have to make the PC ecosystem more like the console ecosystem to improve it, while also making the console games accessible on the PC ecosystem.
Yep.
That's it's Windows is under Xbox now. This is a migration and change we're going through. Game Shark, remember, for 21 months. That's crazy. It's almost as if Xbox isn't dying. Xbox was never dying. Xbox
Yes.
was never dying. Xbox was evolving and changing, for sure.
Also,
And
choo choo.
choo 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 choo. Ah, it's like what we said like before. Like when everybody's like Xbox is dead, Xbox is as a as a company and as a publisher, profitability as big as they are, they've never been stronger. Console sales wise, yeah, they're not that strong anymore, right? But
Yeah.
as a company and for stuff to look forward to and what they're doing,
Yeah.
what we think of as of Xbox is changing. That's
I
the
mean,
key
they're the
difference.
biggest game publisher. I mean, just the way they're competing, like it's interesting, right? Like they are not competing in the traditional way, which I think makes people angry, right? Because for generations, you expect Xbox or a competitor or whatever to compete in this very specific way, which is console sales. But what's interesting to me about that is console sales have historically never really made a huge profit for either any company. It's always traditionally sold at a loss, unless you're Nintendo and some other caveats, whatever. But traditionally, it's always kind of sold at a loss to get you to the software, to get you within the ecosystem, the subscription service, et cetera, et cetera. So Xbox is kind of just being like, okay, and instead of like constantly competing for a market where Sony's brand is so powerful, and you're just competing one to one, my exclusive games versus your exclusive games, et cetera, et cetera. Basically expanding into markets that have more players in them. Like the console market is smaller than mobile and PC. Like PC is way bigger than the console market. Mobile is way bigger than the console market. So they're like, okay, well, shoot, let's let's expand there. Are we gonna piss some people off by doing that? Sure, because traditionally it's not. It hasn't been the norm. Like what has been the norm for so long. So of course they're gonna get backlash. Anytime they do something like new and ambitious and stuff, like even with the Xbox One, they've had some backlash because people aren't used to it. But I think honestly, I think it's really cool. Um, if they just do decide to do the Steam integration, there's a lot of potential with it. So, and it kind of competes or it kind of completes their vision for Xbox Anywhere. Not fully, like 90%, but it's pretty dang close. Like they still have to figure out the mobile part and um fully completing their store. Like Xbox is planning to do, their mobile store, and Bond talked about
Mhm.
that and everything. But like their vision for basically having Xbox on every screen, making it the norm, their way of doing that is actually really intelligent. I think, because they're just breaking out of the traditional model, which is like my games versus your games, and they're just kind of going around it in a certain way. So, um, I hope, since they're going down this path, I'm like, okay, well, they're not going back now. They're not going to reverse course and like, oh, actually, that didn't work out. Let me just,
Yeah.
go back to what we were doing before. They're full on the course now. So I'm like, okay, let's see where this train ride goes. So not a lot of people think like that, but I think um in general it's better for gamers to like have forward compatibility. Like if you are buying a PS5, having the knowledge that when you buy a PS6 that you will be able to play on your next console, and then like if you ever get a PS7 and stuff, that all the games previously you'll be able to play, or do they just drop it? I think Xbox has done a good job at like the forward compatibility aspect and kind of almost solidifying that within like trying to put Xbox on multiple platforms. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Be interesting to see for sure, man.
Yeah.
Psycho, do you think what do you think this next vision for Xbox will be called? You think, are you back? He's not back yet. What about you,
I think
Fuzzy? Um, because there was rumors that it was
Sorry
going
about
to be
that.
Xbox Prime, right?
Yeah,
But like I don't know if that will work because of Amazon or not.
yeah. I think that's just like one of those internal names.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they go. And I've said this like a long time ago, and I'm starting to see some people get on board with it. Nextbox, capital N, lowercase e, capital X box. Like you can play Xbox game or any Xbox game, NE, even though it's supposed to be any NANY, but any Xbox game, and the first three letters is next, so it's a next Xbox. It sounds silly, but from my old marketing days, I think any Xbox or Nextbox would be a good name for the next one.
Yeah.
Handheld, call it Series Go, but that at least for the well, with it being a ROG Ally, I would say call it a Xbox Ally.
Yeah, I was always thinking like Series Go or something like that. Like if they were going the mobile route or the handheld route or whatever. But now that I know it's more of a partnership, man, I just like the name Prime. I hope they can figure that out because that's such a cool
I
name.
mean, maybe. I mean, they can do it. You know, like
Yeah.
because like Amazon has a trademark on Prime, but that's just for a streaming service. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and subscription service for everything that Prime includes, which they do give free
Mhm, yeah.
games and stuff. It does have some gaming things too in there. Like Amazon Prime
maybe-
has like Twitch integration. It has like free games they give away. It has all those other kind of things. So like that for me, that was always kind of like, would they name it Prime? Can they? Maybe they can. I don't know. But the
Hmm.
Prime
What
thing
about
could have
Xbox
just been
Optimus?
Optimus. Yeah, there you go. Starscream, Xbox Starscream, Xbox
That'd be
Megatron.
cool too. And
Um,
Delvin makes a good point. Like I bet it's just called an Xbox, almost like a reboot. Like it's just called Xbox.
What's funny is like Xbox One would have been like what would have been a good idea for this coming like
Yeah.
iteration because it is like a unification of everything, right? And if it could be like the only box you need, right? The one box, you
Yeah.
know, you got
I mean, they
access
could do
to everything.
Xbox One. You know how sometimes they'll have the same name, but the year. It's like Xbox One 2026 or whatever.
Xbox One WON. Yeah.
That too.
Yeah. It'd be I just trying to wrap my head around like what you would
Call this.
Xbox Unity.
God, I posted something about because someone's like, "Hey, what do you think the name was?" And it was pretty good. It was like, God, it was something on the go. I forget the
It's
goddamn.
Xbox Go or something.
No, it was like it was a word that was they had the same meaning of on the move. But it was like I don't know, but it was pretty good. But
You go with the military term for on the move, Oscar Mike.
there we go. OM, Xbox OM.
What's
Someone
the
said series. What is that? What's that symbol? It looks like the God of War symbol. Razor Ultron said it. I don't know.
Omega?
Oh, Omega.
Yeah.
Xbox Meander. I'm trying to think of like words for like
Meander?
whatever get walking around. Xbox Traverse.
See, this is the problem Xbox put themselves in when they didn't just do the simple names or simple numbers. Like PlayStation is like the next it's gonna be PS6.
Yeah.
PS7, they can keep going, but Xbox is like, oh well, they could have just did Xbox 1, 2, 3, 4, but here we are.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, maybe they do something like that and just kind of go back, to different names.
Like a number.
Yeah.
What would this be? The fourth? Is this the fourth
the
Xbox?
original Xbox and the 360, Xbox One,
Oh,
and the series would be 4, so it would be on 5. So this would be
XV.
Xbox
Pentagon.
Well, they could do like Apple and skip a number. They can go Xbox 6.
Yep. Just go
Yep.
straight for it. You're like, wait a minute. Where's the fifth?
I
What the
found
hell?
it was Stallion83 who posted it. I put Xbox engaged.
Engaged.
Yeah.
Reminds me of those old Spider-Man
But there was
phones.
a shitty old console called an Engage.
Yeah, that's what I
a
was thinking.
handheld.
Like they had a
Oh, was
Engage
it?
Yeah, there was
Spider-Man.
an
Oh.
Engage. Remember the Engage?
Yeah,
Wait,
it
was
was
that a
N,
TurboGrafx? Was that
but
the
it was the N
TurboGrafx one?
gauge, right? It was just like N.
Yeah, Engage, I think.
It was like a phone that was supposed to be like a game console type.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Now remember. It was made by what was it? Nokia that did it.
I don't
I think
remember.
so. I remember really wanting one because I remember seeing it in like was it Game Informer or something? They would always have ads on it, and then Spider-Man was always like they had a Spider-Man phone game, and I thought it was so cool. The Pixel Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was by Nokia. There was the Nokia N Gauge released in 2003. Was a PDA-like device that combined cell phone and handheld game
Yeah.
console.
Never got it, but
Wow, sounds like the future of gaming.
Bring back.
It sounds like what we're all talking about. It combines what? Combined what?
Combined a cell phone and a handheld game console.
Okay.
Was it like a PDA
So it's
device?
combined mobile and handheld, console and PC all in one place. The Engage 2, this time made by Xbox. Xbox revitalizing Engage.
Yeah. Razer says Xbox Infinity. That could be cool. I'm pretty sure this might be the last Xbox. You guys think? Or you think they'll do one after?
Well, if this is the future, if this is what we're getting, then
this is it, right?
that's the generations are just going to be just future releases of hardware that just have improved performance, and that's just it.
We've reached the end credits. We're at the end of the movie.
How about you bring back the name Zenith? Zenith. Remember from the move the old TVs?
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big console
Zenith
TVs.
is like the end, kind of like the ultimate goal, right?
Oh.
Zenith.
That was that before my time? Was I born?
Yeah. No.
Probably not.
I mean, they still had Zenith TVs, I think, in your lifetime, but you would have been walking around in diapers and stuff, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Did any of your family have like one of those big console TVs that were like made out of wood, and it was like 25-inch or bigger TV that took up half the
like
floor?
Super fat freaking TVs. Yeah,
and you had your newer TV set on top of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You put the TV
and it weighed like 800 pounds.
Yeah, because you couldn't move it.
Yeah.
And no one would take it. So it was like, where do you put this thing? So people just put the new TV on top of it. So it was like, and that gave birth to the entertainment center.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like the TV stand back in the day.
Yeah,
exactly.
we definitely did that. So I guess I had a Zenith is what it's called?
Zenith was one of the most popular brands back then for
the
TVs.
Magnavox.
It was like a wooden, like I remember having those like this huge, I don't know how big it was, this huge wooden TV on the side, like wood panels, super fat box.
Yeah.
In the back.
So we had a Zenith like that.
Yeah.
I mean, back then
RCA made them too, but Zenith was like the main ones for that.
I think JVC had some still, or maybe JVC, or maybe they were even after. I'm not sure. You had JVC and RCA. You had RCA, Magnavox. Sony actually got more popular into the TVs when
the Trinitron.
Evolved after that kind of. So, yeah, man, lots of possibilities, but yeah, in this world, exclusivity is gone, man.
It's kind of sad that we're this is the end of the book, possibly.
But it's a new chapter that's being written.
It's a new chapter for sure.
Man,
but it's like
traditional consoles, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Microsoft was writing the future.
I mean, you're still gonna have Nintendo doing their
sure.
thing. I mean, they'll be the last
Yeah,
ones to do something different because they
I
make
think
so much profit on their old,
Well,
outdated hardware.
it just reminds me of that end scene of Lord of the Rings where they're like he like sad and they're all it's all like colorful and they're all running in slow motion and whatnot. But yeah, Nintendo's still gonna do it. And I'm sure
yeah.
Sony probably is gonna do it at least one more time with PS6 and then
Sony
and then
will start conforming. I mean, they'll start doing what Xbox is doing now, and during
yep.
the PS6 generation, because
I
they're
mean
always
especially
they're about
yeah.
5 years behind, always, no matter what, because they want to see if it's viable. If Xbox can do it and it's viable, then they will do it and try to spin it where we did it better, and it's really not.
Right on.
Yeah, I mean I think now that Xbox I mean, we'll see what happens with the Steam thing. But like that will definitely change. That will speed up some things with like Sony's store, what their plans are. But yeah, they're usually a little bit behind just based on like their current business model and what they can afford,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting too. Like we say, well, what does that mean for PlayStation? You mean they're gonna start putting their games on Xbox because Xbox is doing it now? Well, like it's gonna be done for them.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
really have
They
to.
don't have
They
a
don't have to
choice.
do anything.
They don't have a choice. That's gonna be done for them. Like they'll just continue to shrink the day and date. But again, I think the ultimate thing is if they get a PC store out, I think that's when we're gonna see more closer to day and date.
And it's like all the investments they made on keeping other games away from Xbox, but they'll have a PS and PC port. It's like
All for
it'll be
nothing.
like for
Money
naught
wasted.
at that point, right?
Yeah.
If Steam does hop on the Xbox train, so they'll have to figure out a different business model because that's honestly a lot of their investment goes into that.
Yeah, gatekeeping is not gonna work for them no more.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so
They're gonna be like, but we spent $250,000 to keep it off Xbox.
unless they do PC now too, they're like, we're gonna keep it on PC.
Yeah, PC will tell Sony to go eat a dick.
So I'm like, if they want to do that, I guess they could if they wanted to, but
Yeah, PC
That-
don't
that's
fuck around.
yeah,
That user base will be like, oh yeah, okay. Good luck by getting anyone to buy your games.
yeah. Oh, why so serious?
Well,
Oh, okay.
how am I the host? What the fuck?
Because Fuzzy's browser crashed, so like he had
Oh.
switched to where you can
Oh,
be the
is it
host
all-
now. I was trying to
is it
see if
all-
I could do it, but it wasn't working. So anyway, hey everybody, we will have this last segment of FSP. Can you pause it?
I just did.
Cool, thanks, man. Called Tidbits. Everybody, this is Tidbits, the segment where we look ahead at the games releasing for the week, and we'll see what we got to start out with here. It looks like Breakout Beyond.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah,
Atari.
first game is Breakout Beyond from Atari. It's coming this Tuesday or tomorrow for $13.49. Available on the Atari VCS,
Ooh.
PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, and PC.
This looks sick.
What's some more like Geometry War HD?
Yeah, this is freaking cool. Okay.
Breakout's
I wanna
always
play
fun,
that.
man. So,
Yeah, I love Breakout, so it was cool to see like a different kind of version.
Right, this next one is Atom Fall, coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, and PC, as well as Game Pass Thursday for $59.99, or part of your Game Pass subscription.
I was gonna say who's picking this up, but we got Game Pass.
This one got pretty decent reviews. It's in like the high 70s, I think, on Meta. It got a lot of 8s and 9s, and it got some low scores too, like some 50s and 60s. So it just depends. It's gonna hit for some, it's not. But I saw in some of the reviews they say the exploration is rewarding, that taking out all the enemies is satisfying and stuff. And it was also had great graphics and felt polished. So made by Rebellion. This first kind of time they've made a game like this. They usually make the sniper elite games. They do zombie army stuff like that.
It kind of feels like a Fallout meets what's that one? Stalker. Or what the
Stalker 2.
Or the other one? What's the other game that has the robots?
Metro.
Metro.
No, the robots.
Oh, the robot.
Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it. I got We Happy Few vibes.
Artwork on this game is so good.
Yeah, this is the first Berserker Kazan for PS5, Xbox Series S and X, as well as PC this Thursday for $59.99.
Whoa!
I like the art style.
Me and Psycho same thing. Yeah, this art style looks sick.
It's a mix.
It's like anime meets reality or hyper real.
Yeah.
Kind of graphics.
Yeah. This has nothing to do with Berserker. Or is it Berserk?
It's first Berserker Kazan. The name.
But this is nothing to do with that anime with the dude.
No, not not Berserker. No.
Okay. This reminds me, there's this other game that's like a vampire-y game that had like a cool cinematic trailer. This reminds me of.
Yes, it is, Mac. This is on Xbox as well as PlayStation.
What was that called? That's gonna bother me.
What game? 3-bit?
There was some vampire game that had a cinematic. We watched it one time. It looked really cool.
The Blood of Dawnwalkers or something like that, or I can't remember. Yeah, because that one's made from like former CD Projekt Red devs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks sick, bro.
That's what this reminded me of. Blood of Dawn.
Right, this next one is called AI Limit, coming to PS5 and PC this Thursday for $31.49.
Okay, wow, some good.
It's like a pre-order sale.
What the heck is going on this week? Some good games.
Seeker of the branch.
Ever seen such a large scale?
Almost looks like a Nier Automata.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That Atelier game, the JRPG, came out last week for Xbox. We didn't have Tidbits, but I know people that are actually really digging that game. That have been playing it so far.
What was the consoles on this one, Fuzz?
Just PS5 and PC.
Well, speaking of RPGs, man, I got to play Clair Obscur Expedition 33 for a little while.
Yeah.
It's coming out next month.
Little jealous.
Oh, it looked
good.
Yeah.
I guess you gotta keep an eye out for the timing when they do those double hits or something.
Yeah,
whacking you with those double hits.
Oh my god, yeah. The parry, yeah. Your key aspect of that game is you're gonna need to get your timing down for your parries and your dodges. That's gonna be crucial.
Peggy 18.
Yeah.
Right. This next one is Karma: The Dark World, coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC this Thursday. 29. Yeah, 29.
Turn down the volume.
Oh.
I don't even have volume for it for me. I don't know.
Ooh, what is this? Ooh.
I'm not sure if it had music to it, so if you can mute it.
Yeah.
I can't even tell. He's like,
He's like,
Now, the one thing I do want to say about this game, it does have PS5 Pro enhancement, so PS5 Pro purchasers rejoice.
PS5 Pro
Extra lazy.
enhancements. I got my PSR. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. $700. It makes it worth it for this. And finally, Assassin's Creed Shadows have made it worth it for PSR.
Almost
Happy
sounds like
Wines
the
back.
singer Tom.
Tom Felton? Not Felton. That's
He's
who am I thinking of? The dude from Joker?
no.
Thinking of Tom.
Goddamn,
I
my
think
old man
Tom
brain.
Petty?
Who's inspired by it? Tom,
Tom
what's his-
Petty.
I sound like Tom Petty? All right, cool, man. Hey, PSR on the fridge. It's so shiny.
The audience know what I was talking about. They know what I'm talking
Karma, the dark world.
about.
Alright, this next one is Gal Guardians Servants of the Dark. Coming to PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch and PC for $22.49 this Thursday.
It's smoke, and it's coming from the castle. Let's go, Masha.
I'm not digging it.
Instead of swords, you got guns. Okay. Oh, and a whip.
It looks like it could be fun. Maybe I need to give it a shot.
Sworn servant of the demon lord Max.
Oh, Tom Waits.
Tom Waits.
Tom Waits. See, that's the dude. Heath Ledger was inspired by him. Tom
Yeah.
Waits. There you go.
He has that dark, raspy voice.
Heath Ledger was inspired by him in what? For Batman?
Yeah, for Batman.
He tried to be Tom Waits?
Or is it Tom Waits or is it Tom? Alright, I'm gonna look this up. It was Tom something.
Tom Waits? Is that what you said, Psycho?
This looks fun.
Tom waits for no one.
It's like he always sounds like he always smoked a pack of cigarettes first thing in the morning.
Yeah. He's,
Oh yeah. It was Tom Waits. Okay. Yeah, it was Tom Waits.
He's like dark and edgy.
Okay. He didn't like blow up hospitals and stuff like that though,
No,
right?
he just
Okay.
sounded. He just sounded. I can't even do his voice. He had like a smoky, Joker voice.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Maid outfits.
Can
Yay.
you skip to the next one, Psycho?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
I got really sucked into this because I like maid outfit anime girls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how do I go? How do I go to the next
It's
one?
okay. I mean, at this
Look,
point,
it's-
we might as well
it's-
stick with it.
It doesn't give me like a fast forward.
I don't even know where it
It's
is.
alright.
Oh, that's the last one, guys. That's why.
No, there should be two more. There should be, three more, actually.
Oh.
Oh, actually,
Guardian.
there should be a lot more.
Yeah, there's more. There's more.
Karma. Oh yeah, sorry.
All right.
Oh.
Kimono Heroes coming to PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch and PC for $13.49. Yeah, this looks
What
like
the
an
heck
old
is with the
Nintendo
sound?
game.
That's an interesting platformer. Remember, like this reminds me of, like Bonk's Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is like. It feels nostalgic. It feels like I played it before, but I know I haven't.
I'm assuming this is co-op.
It looks like it. 4-player co-op.
Yeah.
I'm down for any type of co-op game. You'd be surprised how many people at GameStop ask what co-op games do you recommend? And I'm like, there's a lot on Xbox, but not so much on PlayStation.
Start spreading the Xbox word over there.
Oh, I'm still selling Xboxes. I don't care.
Is this one PS5 Pro enhanced, Fuzzy?
No,
Yes.
no.
It's PS.
It looks like real life on the
I
PS5.
I just wanted some clarification.
Same as this.
All right, this next one is Blue Wednesday coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S, as well as Switch this Thursday. It's already on PC, if you're wondering. It's going to be $14.99 this Thursday.
Is it made by the same people that made Red Tuesday?
No, Thursday, so they're going back.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's the prequel.
I think this is the prequel to Pink Sunday.
It's like a oh, I get it. So he plays jazz.
Jazz game. Jazz. I can get down with some jazz. Oh, I hate those fucking puzzles, dude. Whenever those come up for the Microsoft rewards, I skip it every time. My brain is incapable of solving one of those puzzles.
Like I'm a robot.
Just for that,
Let's
I refuse from playing this.
Oh, the fucking Care Bears! Let's
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Was
All right, Care Bears unlock
figure
the
or
magic.
Care Bear?
This is
What
the
the fuck?
second Care Bears game we've seen in a couple weeks, man.
Yep.
Getting big. Sorry,
This one's coming to PS4 and 5 as well as Switch
What was
this
a mobile
Thursday for
first?
$29.99.
29. What?
This looked like it was on mobile, bro.
Yeah, it
It was
does.
way too much money.
I mean, they got is that Cheer? That was Cheer Bear. They got Friendship Bear. They got let's see, Tender Heart,
What the fuck?
Harmony. Let's see.
Unlock the magic. Is Smurfs bigger or is Care Bears bigger?
The Smurfs
Care Bears.
probably, but like as for okay,
Well-
so stuffed animals, toys, I think Care Bears, right? For
Yeah.
cartoons, I think Smurfs. I don't know.
Smurfs are more current because they had a couple movies already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
true.
hasn't been a Care Bear movie in a while.
All right, what we watching, Fuzz?
This next one is Bubble Ghost Remake coming to PS5, Switch,
Bubble
and
Gut
PC.
remake?
Bubble
Oh.
Ghost.
Oh, Bubble
Bubble.
Gut.
That ghost looks
That's
like the
a whole different
Ghostbusters
game.
logo ghost.
It's a whole different game.
Do I have to blow that bubble the entire game?
Oh fuck that! I'm popping
Yeah,
that shit and turning it off.
That seems
I
annoying.
wonder if it works with
I can see
handsense.
Mav rage quitting for
I
this.
fucking fuck that bubble. I could not do this.
I would hope it's like automatic, so you don't have to like hold A or whatever the entire game. You know.
No, you gotta have the DualSense. This is coming to PS5, bro. You gotta blow in that controller.
It's like
I'd rather have
power
a game called Bubble Guts than Bubble Ghost. It might be funner.
Yeah, a Bubble Gut game would probably be more entertaining.
You should have just named the game
Can you
Blow
make it
Me.
to the toilet?
Ooh, Enzoy. I've been hearing about this game. What do we got?
Which
Oh,
one's
yeah.
this?
Enjoy. Coming to PC for now. Just
Ooh,
PC.
K-Pie like this one.
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've
Caleb
already
like this.
experimented
I'm-
with this. It's like
Yeah.
it's like
Still
a
gonna reach out for her?
UE5 sandbox game.
It's basically
kind of.
Sim.
Yeah, it's UE5 Sims in a way.
Mhm.
It takes like all the meta stuff, all the things I do, and like it allow you to just create crazy characters and like really detailed stuff.
Why did they only show that? Is you said Friday it's coming out?
Yeah. That was
Okay.
one of their shorter
Trailers? Okay.
yeah,
This may
because the
trigger
other ones are like
seizures.
5 minutes where it's like GTA 5 but realistic graphics kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. It looks great. Yeah, actually, I might have to pick that one.
Torino says, I have no
Yeah.
problem with those puzzles. Yeah, I understand that most people don't. That's why it's like only worth 5 points in the Microsoft rewards, because they understand that most imbeciles are going to be able to do those puzzles. for some reason my brain cannot map it out. I can sit there for an hour and fumble around with those 6 squares or whatever and never be able to complete it. I just can't do it.
Dollhouse.
I can-
some days I can do it in 23. Other days it's like today I think was like 101 moves.
Oh my
but
god!
most of the time
for
I
5
can usually
points,
get like 23.
101 moves. No, thank you. I get the points because if you go down and you hit skip puzzle, you still get the damn points.
Yeah.
I still get the points. Yeah.
This one is Dollhouse Behind the Broken Mirror, PS5, Series X and S, and PC this Friday for $29.99.
Ooh, I wonder if Pong and Steel gonna buy this.
No, they probably won't touch this, and good luck convincing them to stream it. I really wish they would play that the game where you have to have the
That it?
volume on or your mic on to
Yeah,
see
I
if
think
you
so.
like scream or make a sound.
Yeah. Isn't that the paranormal the ghost hunting game? I forget what it's called.
Yeah,
Phasmophobia, right? And I think that has that in it.
I think so. And there was another one where it was like a plane crash you had to investigate, and there's like bodies falling out of the plane and like ghost things jumping out of trees and shit. It's like
That sounds too
Yeah.
too much like real life these days, Fuzzy. I don't know, man. It's like
Right?
lately.
Especially if we get on a
Crazy.
Spirit plane. Gosh.
Yeah. Spirit Airlines.
Yeah.
That
Never again.
motherfucker ain't real.
Anyway. All right, this was a fun show, guys. Thank you guys for helping with the tidbits, and everybody in the chat. Hope you guys had fun tonight with the conversations, and let me know what you think in the comments. Appreciate all of you being here. But hey, let's start with Psycho, because this is the first time you've been able to hop on with us in forever, bro. It's good to see you hop in, man. I missed you.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here. Yeah, exactly. I got that promotion. I thought I mentioned it to you guys that I got the promotion at work, so now I'm working.
Yeah, I was excited
all
for
the
you for a
time.
couple days until I forgot about it.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No, congrats again.
And it's like I work at the times now, and I told
Yeah.
my boss, hey, I like to have these. He's like, well, now you're my assistant.
Now
so
we
I'm like,
own you.
fuck. So yeah, so now he has me pretty much working on the days of the podcast, and by the time I get home, I'm freaking exhausted, and you guys are getting into tidbits or round, finishing up, and I'm like, bro.
And we're going an hour earlier than we used to as well. So yeah, so
Yes,
doesn't
that
help.
too. Because before I was able to get home and hop on for a little bit, and then, but yeah. Anyways, chat, thanks for stopping out. It's great to see and chat with everyone. Well, actually, I didn't do shit because I don't have my window browser up for that, so I don't know why I just said that. But chat, you guys are awesome, and you can find me everywhere on social media. And then I've mostly been playing fucking RPGs. Suikoden 1 and 2. I'm almost done with the first one. I need to finish that. I've been playing a little bit of the Assassin's Creed Shadows. Been liking that. And what else have I been playing? Been playing, and I have the Altair Yuma ready unlocked. I'm like, dude, I got like 4 fucking RPGs to get through, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm never gonna have time. All my free time is literally playing video games now. So, but yeah, chat. Thanks for coming out and hearing me rambling on. But it's been a minute, so it's so good.
Right on, man.
And go out and buy Bubble Guts. Looks like a great game.
Bubble guts. Thanks, Psycho. Appreciate you, bro.
Game of the year.
Fuzzy Belvedere, thanks for always being here, bro. And tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
This was an awesome night to hang out with you guys. So glad we had Psycho here tonight as well. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Greatly appreciate you guys coming out and supporting us. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Greatly appreciate it. For those who want to hear my rambles and rants on anything gaming related, just do a search for Fuzzy Belvedere. You'll find me pretty much everywhere except Facebook, because I'm not giving you my government name. So, but outside of that, enjoy some games, because there's way too many of them out there now, And I'm going to try to figure out how I can squeeze Adam Fall into the rotation with AC Shadows right now. So best of luck to everybody.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, Fuzz. And the one and only 3-Bit. What about you, sir?
Great show, everybody. You guys can find me on this show as well as Pixelated Echoes every Sunday. I will be playing AC Shadows next week, but I've been mostly playing Split Fiction with the wifey and a little bit of Ace Attorney, mostly Balatro. It's like I'm jumping between those three right now, but I think my rule should be I need to finish at least Split Fiction before jumping into AC Shadows. And I feel like I'm getting there. Getting closer, but yeah, appreciate everybody. And I will see you guys on the next one. Matt, where can people find you and what you got going on? And close this out.
Tonight you can find me playing Assassin's Creed Shadows and eagerly awaiting when does Adam Fall launch? Is it tomorrow? Or
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it on Game Pass?
No, Thursday. I'm sorry,
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah, eagerly
Yes.
awaiting Adam Fall for Thursday. I need to finish Avowed 2 coming up in the next couple days, but yeah.
And I got to finish that too. God damn.
Yeah, man, so much to play, and there's so much more coming, bro.
I know.
I want to find some. I got the Steam early access for Wreckfest 2, and I haven't even had a chance to launch it yet. So I want to give that a go as well, maybe on a stream at some point. But yeah, everybody, just enjoy all the games that are out right now. There's so many, and there's so many more to come soon. Ignore all the hate and shenanigans that keeps revolving around social media, and just let your own opinions be your guide. Trust me, because there's a lot of noise out there. And yeah, and besides that, we'll be back on Thursday for PM in the PM at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully so, as long as Pong and everything's good to go there. And then Friday night, Xbox Ultimate Podcast at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Looking forward to having that show as well, and hopefully we get some more news before Friday. But I hope everyone has a good one. Thank you all for listening and watching and having fun with us. Take it easy. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Later.